Now, we use a specific numbering sequence. We use what's called Fibonacci. Now, Fibonacci is a simple sequence of numbers. It's 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. And I think my next slide, nope. There it is. I don't have the Fibonacci there. That's okay. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. You can look it up on the net. It's a pretty simple sequence of numbers. So it's based on the Fibonacci sequence. Now, the reason we do that is that the bigger the number, we want to have more space between the numbers. So the higher the numbers, you're going to see them go 8, 13, 21. So there's more and more gap the bigger the number. That shows that the bigger the number is, the less accuracy there is in that number. So we're encouraging the team to stay on the lower end of the scale because the difference between a 1 and 2 is insignificant. 2 and a 3, insignificant. 3 and a 5, now you're starting to get a little gap, so there's less accuracy. 5 and 8, more lack of accuracy. So the bigger the number, it implies that there's less accuracy, right? So that's the sequence, and that's how we estimate. Now, there are different techniques that we use. One of them is called planning poker. There are two techniques that I like to use: planning poker, affinity estimating. Okay, so let's talk quickly about planning poker. So planning poker is a game that we play. We like to play games in Agile and have some fun. Every team member has a deck of cards, and the deck of cards represents the Fibonacci sequence. So the process is the product owner is there, the whole team is there because everyone is there to estimate. Scrum Master may be there to help facilitate the process, but the product owner and Scrum Master do not get to estimate. They are not doing the work, so they don't estimate the work. We also don't want them to influence, right? Yeah, and thank you, Phil. That's the Fibonacci sequence, and obviously it goes on. You take 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, so you can kind of figure out the sequence yourselves. All right, so the whole team is there, product owner is there. We don't want the Scrum Master or product owner to influence the estimate. Product owner reads the story that we're estimating to the team because the product owner is there to answer questions and they understand the work. The team gets to ask questions as necessary. And then they're asking questions and getting those questions answered, the team is thinking based on other work we've done in the past, is this thing bigger, smaller, or same size? So, if we've done work that's similar, we're probably going to call it the same, or bigger, we're going to call it something larger. So the team then, they finish their questions, then all at once, the Scrum Master says 1, 2, 3, and everybody shows their cards at the same time. And the reason we do that is to reduce influencers. If you have a strong personality and somebody yells out the number, chances are the team is just going to go with that number. So this way we get a better perspective. All right, so now you may get lucky, and maybe the numbers are all 1s and 2s and 3s. Don't waste your time. Pick one of the numbers. Typically, they take the largest of the number, and they move on. Don't waste your time estimating. But you might have a situation where you have one team member says it's a 1, and another says it's a 13. Well, that's a wide difference. So in this case, we have those two outliers talk to each other. Why do you think it's a 1? Why do you think it's a 13? And the hope then is that from the conversation, we gain more perspective and better understanding, and we can come to a better consensus vote, a consensus idea of what the size is. Now, there may be cases where both of those team members are right based on their perspective and their experience. So consider maybe one person is a developer and they're thinking, well, this is a one-line change. That's a piece of cake, really easy to do. But the other person is a tester thinking, I've got to regression test that entire application. This is huge, right? This is a lot of work. So they're both right based on their perspectives. So by having the conversation, we gain an understanding of each other's approach and concepts, and then we can come to a better place, right? Come to consensus. So you vote one more time. Hopefully now you're closer, maybe 5s and 8s, something like that. Pick a number and move on. But if you still can't agree, you're still at 1 and 13, put the card back in the deck, come to it later, go off and do some research. You are not ready to estimate it yet, okay? That's how planning poker works. Keep it simple, maybe to 2-3 minutes at a maximum. Just move on. Don't spend a lot of time estimating.